Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar. Today we will be taking a little tour of our innovation portal. The goal is to introduce new features of this platform and answer your questions at the end. Feel free to type in your questions into the webinar Q&A feature at any time throughout the webinar. You can access this via the Q&A button on the top bar of your screen if you're on the desktop. So today our tour guides will be two of the people who helped launch this innovation portal. We have Andy McLean, who's Senior User Researcher at Xinova, and Product Manager Kevin Cromwell.
Hello, everybody. This is Andy McLean. Thanks for the introduction, Shivani. Hopefully you guys can hear me, and if there is an echo, we're going to try to fix that. Okay, I think we got that fixed. Super. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a tour through the new platform and some context here. We are going to be signing in as an innovator, and the assumption is that you've already got an account, and I'm assuming most of you guys do. So we're just going to kind of start from the beginning here and kind of walk you through the submission process, and we'll go from there. So, all right, let's begin. First thing I'm going to do is get signed in here. This is going to be a demo account here, so you may see some things that might appear a little different with some words, especially profile name, things like that. But it's not too distracting. All right, going to go ahead and sign in. So once I'm signed in, if you haven't seen this page already, this is the dashboard or landing page. So this is just the beginning of where we want to take things. But the idea here is that we want to give you guys an area that we could serve up the most valuable information to you, as soon as you sign in. There's a few different sections here. You've got the top section, which is your current projects, and this is essentially where you're going to be able to see your latest submissions. Kind of give you quick access to that, and be able to see sort of the status as well, which we'll get into a little bit. Underneath that, we've got the recommended opportunities. So these are the latest opportunities that are out there. In the future, we're hoping to get these a little bit more tailored towards potentially your personal characteristics and serve you up ones that might make the most sense. But again, this is a quick way to get to the latest opportunities to submit your ideas and solutions for. And at the bottom, we've got our blog section, and this is just an opportunity to catch up on the latest content around innovation and also Xinova. At the top of the page, you're going to see this nav bar. There's a few options up here. Got home, projects, and opportunities. Something to keep in mind is that the projects up at the top and the opportunities both lead you to a path the same way that these buttons, these links here, will also take you. So as you can see, the view all for the projects and the view all for the opportunities, if I were to click either of those, they would essentially take you to these top level nav bar options. So the other thing is the profile. And the profile, there should be a picture up there of yourself. For this demo account, looks like we've got a dancing raccoon. But if we open this up here, we've got the opportunity to view your profile, and here you can update your personal information. We also have an option for the help and support. And this is really important. I'm going to let Kevin actually explain a little bit about what you can expect to see in here as we dive in.
Awesome. Yes, this is the help and support section of the new Xinova Innovator portal. There's a lot of resources in here, so I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a tour to make sure that you are properly utilizing everything that's in here. So first is the success resources. Inside this first tab, we have the Innovator Handbook, which if you haven't seen yet, is a really, really detailed, long document going over everything you would really need to know as an innovator. This is made more for people that like to read detailed documents for everything they need to know about the experience inventing with Xinova. Below that, and this is a PDF format, if you wanted to download the PDF, it would be right there. And below that are the videos. If you haven't seen these videos yet, they're pretty cool. These were just made in the last month, and they're a series of animated videos that explain what Xinova is. They start going over what a request for innovation is and what a solution report is. They also go into a little bit about how to write a solution report. And the fourth and final video goes over some expectations after submission. These are really helpful, and they're all about 2 minutes each, so they're really easy to digest. After that, we have the frequently asked questions. Some of these are really basic questions, like how does Xinova work? How do I make money? But it also goes down into more advanced help, like what is the Xinova review process? How much can I make from a single submitted idea? It also has some basic platform help for, where are things missing on the new platform, and how to transition from the old Innovator portal to the new one. So the FAQ section is great, and if there's anything missing from the FAQ section that you feel like should be there, let us know, and we'd love to add it. We're planning to continue to build this out. All the webinars that we do, including this one, can be found in the webinar section. There's training webinars like how to write a solution report hosted by Shivani. There's also things like how to get pre-submission feedback. We also do webinars on almost all of our opportunities we're launching now, and those webinars can be found in this section. And finally, there's continued learning, like the Understanding Trade Secrets. We plan to do more webinars in this category, and this will be where they are. Finally, the last section is just a little bit of help, mainly for translation, for how to submit on the new portal. So that is probably going to be less used, but these three first sections should be very useful to you as you can continue inventing with Xinova, and for new people especially.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. All right, so again, that can be accessed over here in the upper right-hand corner under your profile picture on the help and support section. That will actually open up a new tab. Okay, all right, so that kind of takes care of the landing page here, this dashboard. And the next thing that I'd like to get into is the fun things, which is finding something that you can actually submit a solution for, something that might pique your interest, something that you enjoy. I clicked on the opportunities button up here in the upper right-hand corner in that nav bar, and that takes us to our opportunities list page. And this is going to be the entire list of currently all the active RFIs that we have in the system that you can submit a solution on. So it just so happens that there is this demo point of use water purification that looks pretty interesting. So I'm going to dig into this. So I'll click on that, and I can see that I've got the RFI document right here that I can go ahead and browse, see if this is of interest to me. I can also click over here on the Solutions tab, and if there are any previously submitted solutions that you may have submitted in the past, those will show up here. So this is an opportunity to kind of keep things organized underneath that solution, as well as quickly check the status. There's also a couple other bells and whistles on this page. There's a couple icons up here. We've got a share icon. So if you want to, you can actually share this RFI with anybody else who may be interested in taking a look at it. And you can also take this opportunity, this RFI document, and open it up in a new tab by clicking on the expand button. The furthest button is the submit solution, and I'll get there in a second. But wanted to chat a little bit about this right-hand side here. This is instructions if you aren't familiar with the submission process. This gives you a good idea on how to go through step-by-step on what you need to do. So the very first thing that you see here is get feedback on your ideas. This is something that's pretty important, and we definitely encourage you to reach out to get feedback from our IDMs, essentially to help increase your chances of selection. So, as soon as you come up with a potential idea and you're not necessarily ready to go ahead and submit that solution report through the system here, you can actually ask us, see if we're on the right track. If you click the Get Feedback button, what it does is it opens up a chat window, which you can start a new conversation, and you can actually type in your message and get that conversation started. This button essentially opens up this chat bubble down here, which is going to be there in your X platform on all of your pages. So you always have access to communicating with somebody at Xinova. So if you were to click this chat bubble in this lower right-hand corner, you'll go right back to what we call the system, we call it intercom, which is your opportunity to kind of have that conversation with a member of the team. Okay, so as we continue following the path here on the right-hand side, we have the opportunity to download the report template if you haven't done this already. So we'll always post the latest template for you to fill out here on the right-hand side. And then, after you go through and fill out the template, it's time to submit. So let's go ahead and actually submit a solution for this RFI. I'm going to click on the Submit Solution button, and this will then put us into the submission flow. So the submission flow has a few different steps to it. You'll probably see over the next couple months, this may evolve a little bit to make it a little bit more streamlined. But yeah, this is where you start. You'll see at the top here, you've got, I am submitting on the solution on behalf of myself. There's only one option there that's already selected, but something to keep in mind is that if you're a member of an organization, you'll also have the ability to submit under that organization if that's where this particular solution is getting submitted from. For this demo, that's not an option right now, but given you may be part of an organization, that may also be an option. So just keep that in mind when you're going through the submission process. The next part is the team section, and the team section is where you can go ahead and add, co-inventors, people that are inventing with you. So by clicking on the Invite Members link, it's going to open up a box here that you can type in their email, and you'll be able to submit. So I've added Andy McLean here. Looks like Andy's already a member. The picture shows up. You can see that there is now an automatically calculated split. And also, we now have an option to select a team lead. And this is just, for larger teams, if there's a point person that's sort of taking the reins on the project, you can select that person here. Underneath, at the bottom, we've got the agreements. So you may know these historically as contracts, and these are the contracts with dealing with and working with Xinova. So there's a couple of agreements that need to be signed. These are now part of DocuSign, so we're going to be able to fill these out actually inline on the computer and not have to do any sort of paper documentation. Keep in mind that some RFIs do have other sorts of contract terms, so those will be served up on a per RFI basis as you go through, but these are just the standard contracts. So it looks like one is signed already, and my compensation agreement actually is not signed yet. So I'm going to go ahead and sign that right now. And this is going to take us over to DocuSign. All right, now that we're in DocuSign here, should be pretty seamless flow here. I'm going to go ahead and continue and start the signing process here. And DocuSign walks you through the process if you haven't done so already. For those who haven't signed one yet, makes it pretty easy to fill out. I'm going to sign there with my Test Innovator signature and hit finish. And this takes just a couple seconds here. And one thing to keep in mind as well, when I added a co-inventor, anytime you kind of create that team for a submission here, one thing to keep in mind is that you do need to, everybody on that team actually has to go through the approval process and approve the submission before it actually goes through to the next step. So Andy McLean here would have to go through and make sure that everything that got submitted is the right thing as well before it actually gets moved on to the next stage. So just something to keep in mind. So now that my contracts are signed, I'm going to go ahead and click next. And if you follow through on this left-hand side, it kind of tells you where you're at. Right now I'm at the solution details, so we can enter a solution title. So we'll say this is the Great Webinar Solution. Okay, I'm going to choose a file here. This is the solution report template that I'll be adding. I'm going to hit next. And now we're on to the background questions. So these background questions, they do give you the option to add additional information if you're not sure or uncertain, and this information gets passed on to our IDMs, but we just want to make sure everything is lined up and makes sense. So for all these, I'm just going to go ahead and select no. Everything seems to be good to go. And then I'm going to be moved on to the submission agreement questions, or statements, I should say. And these all check out. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and say submit. Okay. So now this solution is submitted. Again, if there were co-inventors on that solution, they would have to actually go through and approve. But after you submit, you're taken now to back to the opportunities page. And we can see down here, we've got the great webinar solution. Right now, it's in the team approval stage. On the left-hand side, you'll see that there's some dots, and there's also some words down here. And what we want to do is just make sure that there's transparency for where things are. A lot of feedback over the course of Xinova history has let us know that you guys definitely want to know where things are in the process. So we want to expose that stuff up front. So we've got that solution submitted. Now I'm going to bounce back actually to the projects page up top here on the navigation bar. So this is actually the area where you can see all the solutions that you're a part of. And for some of you, you may have a few showing up here. For others of you that love to submit solutions, you may have a lot. So a few things that we've added to the top here are some ways to kind of organize this information so it makes sense to you. You can group by certain characteristics. Right now it's defaulted to opportunity, but you could group by age. You know, whether it's a customer, stage, or status. Or right now, we'll keep it at opportunity for now. And then there's some filtering options. You can filter by potentially the stage that it's in, and you can also filter by, you know, the actual opportunity that you submitted for. So the other thing to keep in mind up here is you may not see things right away that you have previously submitted. These may be things that were not selected in the past, and or maybe they already are selected. So there's a toggle button up here, and what we want to do is just toggle this back over to being able to show the completed solutions. So as I click that, you can see that 2 additional solutions popped up here that were in the you know, the completed stage. One was selected, one was not selected. Okay. All right. So next thing to look at here would be actually to drill into that submission or any of these submissions here to kind of, you know, see where things are at. As you can see, there's a few things that are in flight. By looking over that left-hand side, I can see that there's a couple in here that are still in the team approval stage. Something is in pre-screen stage, export, and literature review. I'm going to go ahead and click into the literature review solution report. And you're going to see on this left-hand side, we've got a list of the different stages that, you know, gives you that transparency into actually where the solution is. You can see it's in literature review, and we have some content here to let you know kind of what's happening with your solution report at this particular time. There's some other options down here on the left-hand side. You can actually click on the solution here and actually take a look at your submitted solution report. You have the opportunity also to look at the RFI and the comment section. We'll be working on improving this, you know, in the next few months. So I'm just going to skip that for right now. And then there's an attachments area too at the very bottom. And this is where you can actually go in and you can add additional artifacts in addition to your solution report if that's necessary. Okay, well, that essentially is it, folks, for the submission flow. I hope that was, you know, somewhat educational. Maybe you learned something. And at this point, I'll hand it off to Kevin.
Awesome. And thank you, Andy, for that awesome demo. That covered a lot of what the inventors can do right now in the portal. Now, what they can do right now is not what necessarily going to be able to do 6 months from now, because we're continuing to add functionalities and features. One thing I want to express and make very clear is that one of the main reasons that we invested into this new Innovator portal is that we recognize that the only way we can become more successful is if we help the innovators become more successful. So we really want to do everything we can to make your experience inventing with us better and to improve your chances of succeeding with us. So if there's a lot of things that have been done in this portal, had that in mind. If there's anything else you think that we can do, we would love to hear from you. one place that you can always submit feedback is in that little intercom bubble in the bottom. There is a feedback form. It's actually not being displayed because this is a test environment, but there's a feedback form in that bubble that you can click on and submit directly feedback to us, which we will review. Also, replacing the old Innovator portal doesn't necessarily mean replicating it. We took a lot of time looking at the features that the old portal had and deciding what was necessary for this portal. There are a lot of things missing. You guys probably noticed there's some cool new features, like being able to have better visibility into where a solution is, but there also are things missing. And so I'm going to touch on a few of the things that are missing from the new portal and speaking to letting you know that if they're going to be coming back or not. And if you guys have any questions about additional things that are missing that I haven't talked about, you guys can ask about those in the question and answer section after I kind of get done going over this. So the first thing I want to touch on is inventor stats, or kind of a dashboard going over what inventions you have made before, kind of the progress they have progressed through, and how many selections you've had, how many inventions you've had that led to patenting or commercialization. All of these kind of stats, I know that you guys have that in the old portal, and they aren't here. We are looking to add that coming up in the near future. And again, all these things I'm going to be talking about are on the product roadmap. I don't have exact dates when you can expect them, but I would say all of them you should be looking at in the next 3 months to a year, depending on where they fall in priority. So the dashboard and stats are a key thing because we know that you can't improve something you don't measure, so we want to let you better measure what you have in the pipeline and what you've invented with us. This will also be used eventually as a PC reputation system that we want to build. So the better you do with more inventions and the further they make it through the pipeline and more selections you have, the better it will be for your reputation. Beyond that, we want to expand the tool set or the context you have around an opportunity. Right now, the opportunity is just listed with the PDF. And before, in the old portal, we know that you had the webinar would be posted on there. There would also be kind of a question and answer section on the RFI for people to ask clarifying questions and the IDN to respond. Everyone's going to view that. Both of those things will be coming back again soon on the new portal, so that the webinar can be viewed directly on the webinar or on the RFI page, and you'll be able to have a question and answer section on that page as well. Beyond that, in the old portal, you were able to search for members. There was a member directory, so you could see who the other inventors in the network were and get a little bit of information about them. In the new portal, you don't have that yet. That will be coming, so you'll be able to see who else is in the network, have a lot of information about them related to their profile, what they're into, their interests, all that kind of stuff is all coming. Additionally to that, invention interests, they were called kind of silos and themes before, are not in the new portal. We are going to be revamping that system. The system was very old, and we want to revamp it with the idea in mind of where we're going in the future. The kind of work that we want to do in the future is going to include work that is related to patents, but it's not going to be exclusively work that was related to patents. And our old invention interest system was really honed in and focused on patents. So we're going to be broadening that and installing that into this new system. Beyond that, we want to, going along with being able to search for members and seeing what they're interested in, we want to help people and facilitate co-invention. So we want to help you find members to invent with. This can be done in a few different ways, but it will be coming soon, and I know that was part of the old portal. So being able to find members to co-invent with on a particular RFI opportunity is something we want to build for you and set it up in a better way. Also, similarly, we want to facilitate mentor and mentees. We want to facilitate matching of mentors so that we can incentivize people that are prolific inventors that have had success with us in the past, to give them additional incentives to invent with some new people in the network, people that are kind of just figuring things out, maybe are very bright people, but they just have not invented with Xinova before and want a little bit of help just learning the ropes and how to do things. We want to better match and facilitate mentors with mentees, and that's something that we'll be looking to do as well. finally, is we're looking to have a new referral program, a system where you can invite people with a simple link, and they can be brought into the portal, and you will be credited with bringing them into Xinova. We will also look to create an incentive program around this so that if you invite someone to Xinova and they start inventing and become successful, that you are compensated for that. So these are some of the things that we are looking to bring in to the portal over the next 3 months to a year, depending on where the priorities fall. There's also several other things we're looking to do. I'm just talking about some of the things that I know that you had in the old portal that you might be missing, and speaking to letting you know that they are coming back. And they're not going to be replicated in the whole portal. They're not going to work exactly the same. The overall goal of what they're trying to solve might be the same. For example, matching with other members for co-invention. That was in the old portal, but it's not going to be done the same way in the new portal. We're going to be redesigning it to make sure that it works best for you. And we're going to be doing a lot of research and reaching out to some of our more prolific inventors, people that would be looking to co-invent, people that would be looking to mentor as we design these features, to really get our networks and our top inventors' feedback on these features as we build them. And one of the first questions that came in that I'm going to answer now was, how often will the portal be updated? Giovanni, thank you for asking this question. And the portal is going to be updated very frequently. A lot of the updates are going to be small updates that are just kind of little bug fixes or tweaking little things, maybe little tiny design changes for increased usability. But the updates will constantly be rolling out, and there is not going to be any kind of like once every 6 month giant update. We're doing this very iteratively, and we have a continuous delivery cycle that is going to be delivering these features to you.